I'm going to demonstrate how to reverse a two-way dryer door. Start by removing the two hinges and screws from the dryer door. The bottom screws have lock threads, so I'm using a drill with a low torque setting to remove the door. Place the door on a soft surface so you won't scratch the glass. Now remove the hinge cover and attach the opposite side. Use a tiny flathead screwdriver to pop out the cover. Match the holes with the plate and snap it back into place. Next, we're going to swap the latch mechanism with the latch cover. Remove the two screws and pop out the latch mechanism. Next, remove the latch cover. Line up the latch mechanism with the hole at the bottom and push until it snaps in place. Screw it back in tightly, using a drill if needed. Line up the pins and push in the latch cover on the other side until it snaps into place. Now I'll swap the hinge cover with the door hinge. First, remove the two screws on the door hinge, and now remove all three screws on the hinge cover. Screw in the middle screw in the cover back into the same place on the unit as it is no longer needed. Identify the flat side of the door hinge and put the flat side flush to the door and screw in the two screws. Remove the bottom screw on the right-hand side and using that screw and the two that are with the hinge cover, secure into place. Let's move on to the actual door. We are going to be removing all 12 door screws, 3 hinge screws, and top door strike screw. Separate and organize the screws for the door and the hinges so you can easily reassemble later. Remove the inner door cover. You may want to wear gloves as the edges can be sharp. Now we are going to remove the top lock rod and upper hinge assembly. The top lock rod is secured in place by the top bracket with 2 screws that need to be removed. Set the lock rod and hinge assembly aside. And now remove the upper hinge filler, rotate 180 degrees, and insert it on the opposite side. Next, we need to remove this screw so we can switch the side lock rod. Remove the rod from the lower hinge bracket and set both aside. Now take the lower hinge assembly and spin 180 degrees and place in the bottom right corner. Next, take the lower hinge bracket removed earlier and flip the bracket over and push in the locks on the side to remove the filler. Now flip the hinge filler so the screw hole is on the opposite side. Reinsert the filler until it locks into the bracket. Taking the side lock rod, flip so that the curved edge is facing the upper hinge and slide it into the lower hinge bracket. Use the guides on the door and push in. The spring will look like this if properly placed. Now remove the interlock button and place on the opposite side, which will have a small tab protruding to put the lock on. Now reverse the top lock rod and hinge assembly and place the upper hinge assembly in the upper right corner. Use the guide to ensure proper placement of the lock rod. The guide to the left will be secured when screwing in the top bracket. Now secure the lower hinge bracket. Next, on the inner door cover. Now on the inner door, swap the door cover and door strike. The cover should come right off and you will need to remove one more screw on the side of the door strike. Pull off the door strike and rotate it 180 degrees. Reinstall the side screw for the strike. Then remove the whole cover and reinsert the door cover. Now insert the whole cover on the opposite side underneath the door strike. Next, place the inner cover of the door on top and screw in the remaining 3 screws in the hinges and 12 door screws. Align the hinges on the door with the screw holes on the cabinet and screw in all 4 hinge screws.